Hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie. Happy birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's her birthday.
It's my birthday.
One time for
It's
the
my
birthday. Pour one out for your birthday, girl. Think about the birthday songs you know.
Happy birthday, princess. Sarah sends that one to me every year.
I don't know that one.
I don't think I do either. I think I actually never actually listened to it. So that could be the completely wrong tune, actually.
There's one, all I want for my birthday is a big booty hole.
Yes. If it didn't take so long for us to get strapped up into this whole situation, I would get up and give a little show for that. Yeah.
Go shawty, it's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday. We gonna sip Bacardi like it's your birthday.
Yeah.
And you know we don't give up because it's your birthday.
Yeah, so the ironic part about this is that I actually do love my birthday.
She's a Gemini who
doesn't love a day all about themselves, truly.
Many people, not me. I love my birthday.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you don't love it.
No.
And I was like,
we're air signs. Of course we love
I was there for your birthday. I'm pretty sure you love it.
I'm pretty sure you're having fun.
This one, not super thrilled about. I'll be even less thrilled about 26. But on the day that you guys are listening to this, I turned 25 today. It's my birthday.
She can rent a car.
That's about all that's good about it.
And her prefrontal cortex is going to be done marinating.
This baby is cooked. I'm done. I'm fully cooked. My brain is developed. So I just want to address what it actually means to have your brain fully developed. Like why people say like, oh, 25, your brain is fully developed. Like you're fully cooked. That's why we're saying it like this brain is cooked. So it's actually the prefrontal cortex, which, you know, in psychology I did learn, even though I completely forgot everything.
Decision makers.
I forgot everything from my degree. I need to go find my notebooks and stuff. But anyway, so that's the part of the brain behind the forehead. See, it's right here. That's why we're talking about here. It's fully cooked. And it just usually happens around 25, around this age. So I don't think that exactly on your 25th birthday, you wake up and she's cooked. But that's the way I like to think of it. Like I wake up and ding, it's a little oven. And
25-year-old.
So what happens in the prefrontal cortex? It is skills like planning, prioritizing, and making good decisions. By the way, this response is from AI.
Good decisions.
Ooh, sign language. So, basically, when your prefrontal cortex is developed, you have a better grasp on realizing the consequences to your actions and like
decision making,
and better at decision making. And so that's why they say, like, you know,
don't make any big life decisions before you turn 25, like I did. I said that.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. So I have another week until I have to make any big life decisions.
Yeah.
I'm going to soak it up. Yeah. But anyway, so that's what it actually means by prefrontal cortex, your brain being fully cooked.
And that's your science lesson for the day.
And I'm really looking forward to that. I hope I wake up on the morning of May 29th and I just have this like revelation. Because I feel like you said that happened for you.
It wasn't like a one night bam sort of thing. It was more like a slow build. And then I felt just like settled.
Yeah.
And my brain just like feels a bit more calm. Not to say that it's calm, because it's not, but it just feels like my baseline is more calm.
I would love for my brain to feel calm because it does not.
And maybe I hate to break it to you, that's just my experience. Maybe your brain won't feel calm.
It's not
like
looking,
maybe
it's
in
not
like
looking
a different
good.
way.
It's not looking like it's going to.
Well, she's got about a week because we're recording. We're actually cheating because it's not your birthday today.
We can't record day of and edit and post. But it just so happens.
The talent. Yeah. That would be a lot of work for her on her birthday. I'm not gonna. You shouldn't have to do that.
I probably will be working on my birthday because I'm a one-woman show. But yeah, I mean, it just so happens that my birthday falls on a Wednesday,
which is so fun.
And episodes come out every Wednesday, which just works out. So.
And Wednesday is usually kind of like a not most fun day for your birthday, but
it's the second worst day of the week after Tuesday.
Really? You think Tuesday is worse than Monday?
I don't really love Monday either.
Because Monday...
But I don't have a 9 to 5. So, like, Monday is kind of actually my day off after the weekend.
Oh, that's true, because you usually do work on the weekends.
Yeah.
Mondays are just hard because you're just kind of like dusting off the cobwebs.
Yeah.
I feel like
And
Tuesday...
you've had a taste of the sweet life of what it's like to not go to work for 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're thrown back in the trenches.
Right, and you have to like dust off the cobwebs, like kind of get in your groove. And then I feel like by Tuesday you're like kind of hitting your stride. Wednesday can be like Wednesday can kind of go either way. I feel like sometimes there's things going on Wednesdays. You know, some people have like leagues, not that I do, but like, I don't know, I just feel like things kind of happen on Wednesdays. Like they start, like a pre-weekend starts happening on Wednesday sometimes. And then Thursdays, call me crazy, one of the best days of the week. I love Thursdays. The horizon and like all of the excitement and the joy of the weekend is
Friday
like,
Junior.
it's like still inside of you and you haven't missed anything
And in
yet.
college, you also drink on Thursdays.
Thursdays, some of the best nights of my life have been on Thursday nights.
Do you think this is like a metaphor for your 20s?
Oh my God, maybe you turn 25 on Wednesday and that just like...
Because it's the middle of my 20s. But
Yeah.
the thing is, the beginning, 22 was awesome.
I was going to
22
say,
was my favorite.
I don't think
but
the beginning of the week like necessarily matches with 20 because I personally really liked being 20. It was also my golden birthday. I just kind of feel like I kicked it off on like a really strong note.
Yeah. But I guess as far as what you're saying about like kind of getting back into the groove, it feels a little bit rocky at first. Like that's kind of how maybe your early 20s feels. Like you're just kind of figuring it out, adulthood. I actually don't think this is a metaphor for being in your 20s because like early 20s was awesome and I kind of feel like later 20s maybe won't be. I'm excited for what's next, but I don't think that's like the funnest. Like I definitely think early 20s was very fun. Like a weekend would be.
I think it's fun in like a different way.
True.
And I think you find maybe more of your like authentic fun. I think like the picturesque, crazy night out sort of thing is like very early 20s, or at least that was my experience. But then you like kind of have your own different type of fun.
That's
and it
actually
feels like more authentic to me.
That's so true because like I do like have fun on a night out, but to my core I'm a homebody.
Same.
And so I remember being in my early 20s and like a small part of me was kind of like, yo, I cannot wait until I'm a little bit older so that I can stay in on a Friday night and feel nothing about it and actually feel very happy about that.
Yes.
But when you're younger, it kind of feels like, oh, I've got nothing going on a Friday night.
I'm such a loser.
And now I'm like,
I need nothing going on a Friday night because I'm so tired.
Don't call, don't text.
I can't come to the phone right now because I'm sleeping or I'm seriously doing like a face mask and I'm watching my show.
And that's how we know we're 25.
Yeah.
But okay, so today we're going to be talking about
life being 25.
Being 25, how it's different from the early 20s. Because seriously, I just feel like every year is so different in your 20s.
Yes, I agree.
Just kind of, I feel like we're both in different stages of life, even though we're the same age. And I just feel like that so many different people around this age, because it's the first time in your life that things kind of have more freedom as far as like there actually isn't a rule book about what's next. I mean, that kind of comes into play a little bit earlier, but for the most part, it's kind of like in general, for people around your age, you're like kind of in the same life stage because you have school. And now it's like, oh my gosh, everybody's doing different things. So to quarter life crisis, to not quarter life crisis.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's get into it, yeah.
Let's get into it, yeah. So, Bessie Queen, how did you feel on your 25th?
Let me think about my 25th birthday. So my 24th and my 25th birthday are like they kind of blend together a little bit. In my mind, at least. My 25th birthday was actually on a Friday this last year,
fun.
which was super fun. And I feel like the way that I like to do my birthday is I get really stressed out when I feel like I have to host. So I like to do things with different people and like elongate my birthday.
Yeah,
so like
different
my
days.
actual birthday. Yeah, like a week. So like one day, like you, Bestie Queen and Emma, like we're gonna go out, we're gonna get drinks, we're gonna get dinner, we're gonna like do an activity, something, and then I'll do something with my family, and then I'll do something like with my boyfriend, or then I'll go out for like happy hour with like my work friends, sort of thing. So I kind of like to do that so that I get to see everybody and I don't feel like I have to like throw a birthday party for myself and make sure that everybody is like having fun. Because that really is something that makes me anxious. But my 25th birthday, I felt like a lot was going on at the moment because like all things like started to converge for me. So like being 24, I feel like is kind of when I had my quarter life crisis, if you will, where I was like that whole year, it was like in each different part of my life or like aspect of my life, I was like figuring something new out. So I was in grad school to get my master's degree when I was 24. So
slay.
Thank you. That part of my life was like, it was very, 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 very chaotic and academic heavy. So I felt like I was figuring out what I wanted to do for my career, but I wasn't totally sure like how this was all going to sort out after I got my master's degree. Getting a job, finishing my degree. I had obviously had jobs before, but it was like, okay, this is like the first step of my career. And it's kind of nerve-wracking when you're looking for like a first career move because you want it to be somewhere like fun and you want to feel successful there and you want to like get it right the first time, obviously, because looking for a job is seriously awful personally. The interview process and just like all of it is a lot on top of like whatever else you're doing.
Yeah. And you've been going to school for so long that you're excited to finally get into what you want to be doing. And so you want it to be all these things that you thought it would be.
Right. And I was so poor. Like I cannot emphasize this to you enough. Like I was broke. So I was just excited to have a salary and a job and a career that I was going into. So all of this like career stuff was taking up a lot of my like brain capacity. So that kind of like came to a convergence, got a job, finished my degree. I was like, phew, so glad to be done with that. Meanwhile, my brain is coming to all these realizations about like life and just like my brain is slowing down. And it kind of came to a point where every day it felt like I was waking up and having like a new moment of acceptance about like the world, about how things are, what I can do to change them, what I can't do, like what I don't have control over. Because I was telling you this the other day, like I was very angry in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Like I just felt kind of angsty, and I felt like every day that angst kind of like dissipated a little bit.
So what do you mean by angry? Angry about yourself, like angry at yourself for not doing certain things, or angry at the world, or like how things were in the world? Because I mean, I hate to give any more publicity to the pandemic, but that was literally
she really was that girl.
She already got it all. Like she doesn't need anymore. And I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but hello, the pandemic was hard for a lot of reasons. And there were so many other social, political things going on throughout those first few years of our 20s. But what exactly were you angry about?
I mean, I was 22 when the pandemic happened, and I think I was just like angry about the current state of the world, and I just felt like I really couldn't do anything about it. And I was just wondering what I could do to help, because I just always felt like I need to be somebody that's going to change the world. And that felt like such a big task to put on me in my early 20s, even in a lifetime. And as my year of being 24 like wore on, I kind of like came to the acceptance each day that it's like, I know that I am not going to change the entire world, but it's okay if I just am changing the world that I live in, like my world. So I think that like took a lot of stress off myself, and I think I just put a ton of pressure on myself when I was in my early 20s to like be doing this, or like, why did you do this? Or I was angry at like my brain, like, why are you anxious? Like, why can't it just not be anxious about things? Why can't it not hyperfixate on XYZ situation, XYZ focus on my body, food, etc. And I was just like so angry at myself and just angry at the world. And I felt like that kind of just slowly like crept away.
Yeah. Like feeling less pressure to do and be everything as you felt when you were a bit young, like just a few years younger.
Right. So that kind of happened, like, in my brain. Like, I'm thinking about, like, personal reflection. So, like, career, personal reflection, like, all kind of happening at once. And then, like, in my relationships, like, with my family, I feel like that kind of changed in my early 20s. Because, like, you see your parents in such a different role.
Right.
And, like, carving out that relationship and, like, what that looks like for you and your parents now.
When you're an adult, it's different.
When you're an adult. And even when you're in college, like, it still looks different, at least it did for me, than it does now, in terms of relying on them financially or relying on my parents for, like, you know, during COVID, like, we all moved home, relying on my parents for even, like, housing, because we were in, like, such unprecedented waters. Now the relationships with my family look different.
Right.
And then also, like, in terms of, like, a romantic relationship, there started to be some changes. On my 25th birthday, my boyfriend moved into the house that we live in together now. I didn't move in until January because that was how the leasing and everything timed up. But, like, that was happening, like, on my birthday, which was fun.
And that's a super huge life step.
Yeah.
Like, that's no small thing. That's a big...
Yeah, and that was, like, a big deal, and it really felt right at the time. And it still feels right, and, like, further confirming, yes, like, I'll get there.
Yeah.
But that big milestone was happening. So I felt like everything kind of, like, came together on my 25th birthday. Like, literally and, like, emotionally kind of, like, all came together.
Yeah.
And I just feel, like, settled.
Yeah. And I remember you voicing that, too, because we were out at a wine bar for your birthday, and you had said that you're like, I just feel like my brain is fully developed. Like,
Yeah.
it's cooked. It's
at ease.
Things were coming together. Things felt a little bit more stable, maybe. And you had got into your career and kind of getting your groove, which I think you're getting your groove. You think that maybe you still are kind of working out some kinks, but that's just part of
You
it.
know, your own worst critic,
And,
too.
you know, you've been in a serious relationship and going so well that you decide to take the next step to move in together. That's a huge life decision that you want to feel really good and confident about. And so to just feel like, yeah, I feel sure about the decisions that I've made. Like, you, in your early 20s, you have to make a lot of, depending on who you are, though. But for you, in your life particularly, in your early 20s, you had to make a lot of big life decisions. Transferring colleges, changing what you were studying, friendships, relationship, and also, like, getting into a new relationship. It's an adult relationship, you know what I mean? And just, like, navigating a lot of those big life decisions that feel so daunting when you're young, that when you start being like, oh my God, I thought things were going to be different, but now I'm, like, making this decision or this or that that's going to flip my life upside down. And not to say that you won't ever make a decision like that again, but at this time in your life, it was kind of like, actually, no, things are coming together. I'm seeing why all of that. I made all the right decisions for me.
When you turn 25, or at least when I turned 25, I felt like I was reaping what I'd sown. Like, I'd finally, like, seen the fruit of my labor for the last 7 years of my life. It finally was like, okay, you did that. It wasn't your parents. It wasn't your siblings. You did that, and it was just you. Because sometimes in high school, like, you know, you do have a support system and everything, and it's just different. Like, your accomplishments don't feel like your own, always. At least I didn't.
Because it's, like, going off of, you
This
turn
is just
16,
what
you
you
get
do.
your license.
Yep.
It's like an accomplishment, but it's kind of like, yeah, me and everybody else next to me. You graduate from high school, kind of like, yeah, me and everybody else next to me. You decide to go to college, you go to college. Yeah, me and everybody else next to me. Which I understand is, like, not the case for everybody, but
That was our experience.
Everyone around us, that's kind of like, it was next. And that was what felt right for everybody, you know? But then that's kind of the hard thing then about being this age, is that it stops looking the same for everyone. Like, I am a 16-year-old, 25-year-old girl.
Yes, I'm just a girl.
There's something about my brain that I'm like, I literally still feel like a teenager, even though I also feel like such an adult. Like, I'm like, no, because at the same time, I had to grow up faster in certain ways, but then in other ways, I'm like, sometimes I feel almost like a little bit stunted also, because I kind of had to, like, jump forward in age when I was younger. Does that make sense? And so I think that's why sometimes I'm kind of like, how can I already be this old? Because I just I don't know. And also I think the pandemic was kind of a blur, like those few years that it was kind of like, oh wait, I feel like, not that I got robbed, but like that time that probably would have been spent differently was not spent the way I probably would have. And so it just kind of feels like,
yes,
it just feels like that weird in between space that it's like, oh, how was that 4 years ago? How am I already 25? How am I not like 22, 23? I don't know.
But it also feels like it was a really long time ago.
It does. It does.
Like, I think about it and, like, it feels like more than 4 years ago.
I don't know about that. It does feel like about that time. But I guess all I'm kind of saying is that
life looks really different at 25, and I think that's why it's really hard.
And, you know, if my 25th birthday looks like yours, the next week we'll have to pull some major fucking miracles. Because I may be wearing a party hat, but I am not feeling
You're not
very
feeling
good.
very fiesta?
I'm not feeling very fiesta at all. I'm not feeling very feliz cumpleaños.
I'm not laughing at your misery.
I am. I'm so lost.
And it's okay. It's okay to be lost. You will find
it really easy to say when you're found.
I was gonna say that's like coming from
that like really has her shit together. Which I understand. You have your own host of, you know, blah 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 blah.
Also, though, one thing that I wrote down when you're like, I want to record this episode about being 25. Everybody's doing this thing for the first time. Like, everybody wakes up and has never lived the day that they're going to live. Mm-hmm. I've never lived May 20th, 2024, ever. Mm-hmm. Along with everybody else on this planet Earth. Like, we're seriously all just doing our best to figure it out. And nobody has the answer. Like, I used to think that my parents knew the answers to everything. Like, the way that my mom put pasta sauce in my pasta was the only way that it could be. She was seriously just, like, throwing it in there. Like, we're all just seriously making it up every day. Everybody is making it up every day.
That's so true. And such an interesting way to think about it, too, because it's just like you think that you're going to be so much older
and wiser
than the age actually is. And then when you get to that age, you're like, what? I'm still so young. Like, even taking it back to like when I was a kindergartner and I would see the big sixth graders and I literally thought they looked like 25.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, those are the big kids. Like, they're teenagers. Or no, they were 11.
Or when you saw somebody that was 16, you're like, oh my God, that's an adult.
I literally thought 16 was so old, and then I got my license, and I was like, I'm allowed to drive this thing by myself?
I was gonna say, who trusts this? Who let me do? Okay, now I look at 16-year-olds now, and I'm like,
they're so young. I know.
We should not be allowing this.
I know. But it's just, you just think that every age is so much older than it is until you get there, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to know everything by now. And it's just, everybody's in such a different stage of life. And that's why I think that this is a good episode to have the two of us be, because you're my best friend, but our lives look so different right now. And also a lot of our friends' lives look different right now. For example, a girl that we graduated college or high school with is pregnant with her 5th child. Like, she's literally Superwoman. And like, she's married, and
people get married people are married at 25. Like, it's pretty normal. But in my mind, I'm like,
oh, I know.
But how? How did you do that?
No, and literally people are like having their bachelorette weekends and getting engaged, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. My roommate, one of our other best friends, went to a bridal shower yesterday. It's like, she's wrapping a gift. I was like, what's that for? Oh, blah, 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 it's bridal shower. We're old enough to go to one of those.
And like, people just, I always thought that you had to have like some sort of authority to do stuff like that.
No, you can just do it. No, you can literally just decide to do it.
And that's my point of like, everybody is just waking up and like living life for the first time. Like, you don't have to get permission to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you just seriously wake up and do it. His hat is falling off me.
You can take it off if you want.
No, I don't want to.
Which
is wild and fun and scary all at the same time.
I know that it's okay for us to all be in different stages. And like, when I say I feel so old, I'm 25, like, people laugh in my face. And but someday I might laugh in my own face for saying that. But the thing is, it's just like, laugh in my own face. I think what I'm having such a hard time with is that I feel lost in my own life. Like, it doesn't feel like things are coming together. I'm just this month was also the 2-year anniversary of when I launched LEE-LUH, and it was just kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe it's been 2 years.
I was just thinking that exact thought in my head.
But then also it's like, damn, like I thought I would be further than I am right now. And it's just, I've honestly been feeling so not good mentally, because I also feel like, what the hell am I doing this, trying to start something, and like, what do I even think I'm doing? Like, I want to be a novelist, and not just a novelist, I want to be like a New York Times bestselling novelist. And it's like, what do I think I'm doing? I should just get a job, and meanwhile I'm like waiting tables, which I actually do love doing. But like, I have a college degree, maybe I should just get serious and like apply for an office job and do something in that field, or maybe go back to school or this or that, just because I feel like what I'm doing is so against the status quo that I see that in people around me, and it's starting to make me like really panic. And when I was younger, it was like, I just finished college, like I've got plenty of time, like blah blah blah. And now I'm like, oh no, like I think I need to figure shit out, because I have 1 year left on my parents' insurance, and I have a lot of mental health issues. And I've had 3 surgeries this year.
Get them out of the way while you can.
Why do you think I got the last one? And I know that it's just, I have to just keep pushing ahead. And from an outside perspective, maybe it looks like I'm doing so much better than I am.
You are your own worst critic, though. You're doing pretty damn good.
I just feel like I feel like the hot mess friend. And that kind of sucks to feel like when I want to have my shit together. But I also have to remind myself that the stage in life that some other people around me are at is not, like, it's what I want someday, but it's not what I want right now.
And also consider, like, you might see people that are in a certain life stage, they have like a 9 to 5, they might be miserable, and they're probably looking at you like, I wish I had the courage to travel. I wish I had the flexibility to travel. I wish that I was doing it a different way.
Yeah.
And like, the grass is green where you water it.
I think that I just get too in my head about what I think other people are perceiving of me, and like thinking, because I'm feeling like I'm failing at everything, it feels like other people are looking at me like I'm like a scrub. Like, what is she doing? Like, she doesn't know what she's doing in her life. Like, she's just...
And what would happen if somebody thought that about you? Well, like...
I'm just assuming that they already are.
But even if that was the case, like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, they think that? Okay, well, that sucks that they had to take all of that brain power to think about somebody else so negatively.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of sad if you're focusing on somebody else and, like, hoping and thinking about, like, oh, don't you think that they should be, like, doing XYZ? Why don't you ask them and stop thinking such mean things in your head? Like, yeah. That's a sad place to live mentally.
Well, and it's a hard thing because I've taken a less secure route, but I also am just, like, trying to find my happy, you know? Mm-hmm. And to me, like, things that are really, really important to me in this stage of life is different than what's really, really important to other people. And I have to just, like, keep reminding myself of that. Like, I don't want to buy a house right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want, like, I do want these things, but it's like, but I have to remind myself that I'll have them someday, but I don't have to want them right now. And it's just hard when it feels like, I don't feel like I have someone, like, kind of near me that is doing what I'm doing, where it's like, I'll, like, go travel for a few months and then come home for a bit and figure it out and then go do it again. And I don't expect other people to want to do that. And that doesn't, like, take away from our friendship necessarily. Mm-hmm. But I am having a hard time for sure. Like, I have to be honest with myself. And I just want to say it because I feel like other people probably struggle with it too. But in just feeling like I'm behind. Am I doing life wrong? And I know, like, oh no, there's no way to do your own life wrong, blah, 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 blah. But, like, it's easy to say that and harder to feel that because, like, for example, my roommate had, like, some friends over and they all, like, brought their dogs over, and, like, a lot of people around us, like, are looking for homes or, like, in serious relationships and, like, live with their partner or bought a house with their partner, or, like, they've been together for a long time and they're thinking about engagement. Even though I know that that's not what looks right for me, it's just hard because I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. It just, I'm scared I'm going to get left behind.
But, like, you're always going to be along for the ride.
I just, like, it just, And nobody is ever making me feel left out or anything like that. But I'm scared that people are going to like keep it moving forward to these stages of life that I'm not ready for. And I'm just going to be behind. And it's scary and it's sad. And I'm scared that I'm not going to have things to relate to my closest friends to, because we're going to be in different stages of life, which has never been an issue before now. And that is like what's really scaring me, I think.
Oh.
On top of also just like my own shit of feeling like, do I give up what I'm doing and just like start doing something more secure? Or do I just keep pushing through until the self-doubt passes? And
she's at a crossroads.
So I am 1,000% having a quarter life crisis.
Definition of one.
All the signs are pointing. If you need a poster child for quarter life crisis.
But guess what? Here's the good thing about quarter life crises. They pass.
Please tell me it fucking passes, because I'm like, I feel like I've been in one. Like, I kind of feel like I've been saying, I feel like mid 24, last summer it kind of started. I was like, I just feel like I'm kind of stuck in a rut. Yeah, well, it's been a good like 8 months, so I don't think I can say that anymore. I think I'm in crisis. Or I need to up my Lexapro or something. Which could be the case.
A little bit of Lexapro, a little more Lexapro doesn't hurt.
It probably couldn't. In fact, that was something I needed to do today.
In fact, to-do list.
In fact, that's been on my to-do list. But this whole mid-quarter life crisis has been...
Midlife crisis, don't go there.
We don't know. We don't know.
No, we know. It's not. All's that to say, if you are listening and you are not 25, you will probably go through a midlife crisis. We all do. They all look different. She's in hers. I've gone through mine, and it's really easy for me to sit here and be like, it gets better, champ. You got this. It'll pass. But it might not feel like that when you're in the throes of it.
Well, and you know what? In 1 week, my brain will be fully developed. So things could click. It will take a miracle if all of this mess gets straightened out in a week. But you never know.
You never know.
And God, I hope that means the character development is done, because I'm so tired.
I'm done being developed.
I'm so tired of these trials and tribulations. She's cooked. She's done. I'm happy with who I am, and I'm happy with what. Like, I always want to keep growing and being a better person, but I don't think we need any more hard times. I'm pretty good.
In this kind of way.
I feel like I'm set. I'm ready for the good times.
Let the good times rock and roll.
Yeah. And so I think I definitely obviously need a perspective shift, but it's like a crazy thing where I feel like in like every sense of my life. Like, I tell you, my room has been a crazy mess for the last few days because I switched out my winter clothes to my summer clothes. And good news, I hate everything that I own. I feel like I don't know what my sense of style is.
Here's the good news. Now you get to go shopping.
I know, but I also have this thing in my head where I'm like, just save, save, save. You know what I mean? So like, I have a hard time spending. But
now guess what? We can go shopping because I actually put another crayon through the dryer.
You did not.
With my jeans.
I was listening to that episode the other day and I was just laughing about that. And I was wondering if you ever fully got the crayon out.
Well, now it's just covered in green now.
So it's green and red in your dryer.
Less red. I think the red like kind of went away. But I threw a brand new green crayon in, and guess what? It got all over my jeans.
Are you going to keep the jeans?
That's like not really my style to show up
chaos.
With, like, chaos isn't really how I roll.
Yeah, I understand. It's not like
I'll probably
business profesh.
But like I'll keep the jeans. I'm so mad because they were like a really good pair. Not that they were like a elite brand or anything, but I just really liked them.
No, that's actually devastating because jeans are tough.
And guess where I got them? It was like off the cuff at Nordstrom Rack. So guess who's never gonna find those same jeans again? Me. But now we get to go shopping.
Okay, we can do that. Because literally just coming over here to record, I was like standing in front of my closet naked after I got out of the shower, and I was like, perfect, I have nothing. There are clothes in there. There's actually a lot of clothes in there. None of them go.
I know. I actually feel that.
And I'm just like, okay, another thing that I do want to kind of touch on, just because is prevalent in my life right now, and it's also contributing. And I know that it strikes other people, but like body changes when you're in your mid-20s, and like a lot of it is lifestyle too. Like my lifestyle was pretty sedentary in the winter, and I want to be so careful because I don't want to like instill anything in anybody else that wasn't there before, like any type of insecurity or anything. But it is hard when like clothes just don't fit the way they used to. And also going into summer season, it's like, you know, you wear less clothing and stuff like that, that over the winter it was like, oh, I guess I didn't realize my body was changing as much as it was. And so I think that's also something that I've been having a hard time with, because when like mid-20s just is different from your early 20s. Like
yes.
Early 20s you kind of still maybe have your teenage body, and then it's just like, oh, shit's actually slowing down a little bit now. And you know, a lot of that is like, yeah, I for sure wasn't as active in the winter. Like I could work from home, so I did, but then I'm like literally taking 25 steps a day, you know. And if it snows, I'm not going to the gym. I'm not scraping off my car. I don't have a garage. I'm not doing that.
Not scraping off my car. The other thing too that I want to speak on, did you know that you could actually get acne in your mid-20s? Because don't look at my chin, I'm well aware now. Granted,
I actually did not notice that.
And
but
that's been
freckles.
Something I've struggled with, is all of a sudden, which could be endometriosis contributing, which I think is 100% the cause. I'm like, oh, I thought that I was past the point of my life where I was getting pimples on my face.
I forgot that this could actually rock my world. I forgot how much a pimple used to absolutely kill my world. But summer, I feel like my skin always gets so good in summer.
Well, and I get freckles, so you like can't really differentiate like a freckle and a pimple.
You do have
which
the
is
cutest freckles. Like they're just like a perfect amount too. Like you're just kissed with freckles. They come out in the sun.
Oh my god, thank you.
They fit you so well.
You get some freckles on your nose too.
I do get a couple. I need to actually go out in the sun this summer. I feel like I was really in like
that's the other thing. You need to like start taking care of your skin when you're 25. I have not. Like full disclosure.
That's when you start retinol. 12-year-olds, please, for the love of God, all you need is a little CeraVe.
A moisturizer.
We don't need the
and
drunk
cleanser.
elephant. But now that you're a little bit older, you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to spend a lot. But like,
save the drunk elephant for us.
You don't have to save it for me. I'm not spending that much.
Oh, me either, because it's expensive. But like, seriously, you don't.
Unless they want to sponsor. Actually, I've never heard of them sponsoring anything.
That's actually so true. I haven't.
I don't
either.
think they need to.
Alex Earl out here, she has been giving them.
Oh, has she really?
Yeah, she was the one that like I think got everybody onto Drunk Elephant because she used the Drunk Elephant bronzing drops.
She could literally say like, "This is the dryer sheets I use," and they would sell out. Like she could sell anything.
You know what? They probably smell nice, so I might buy them.
No, I'm telling you legitimately. If she told me that she buys a certain kind of dryer sheet, I would buy them.
I'd be like, well, why not? I need dryer sheets. I might as well get the ones Alex Earl has.
Yeah, I'm like, I trust her. Okay, that is just like a whole different tangent.
But all's that to say, like, your body does go through changes when you're like in your mid-20s, and that's another like really hard thing to cope with, especially if you have history of, you know, struggling with body image or like insecurities and stuff, which everybody has, but you know, sometimes it makes you a little mentally ill.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and so I feel like there's just like a whole host of things that I'm just kind of like I'm the same me. I'm literally like, it's not like I look the same. But I just feel like I'm changing, and also like,
but it's good.
I just don't know how to do life. Like there really isn't a rule book, and I don't want one. You know, if there was, I'd probably rebel against it.
Like if you had a book that told you the rest of your life, would you read it?
Clara, I can never be offered such a book. Because
why
here's
would you be too tempted?
Way too tempted. But the thing is that like self-fulfilling prophecy is a super real thing.
I know.
And so it's like, okay, well, then I would just do whatever this book says.
But I seriously, if somebody gave me that book, I would say burn it. You heard me. You heard what I said. Burn it. I'm not reading that book. I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Like
that would give me so much anxiety. Like, no. That's like not how life is meant to be lived.
Yeah. And I feel like there's been so many times in my life where I did wish that I had that book. Like,
Same. In high school, I was like, I want that book so bad. I want that book more than anything in my life.
In high school, when I was trying to figure out where to go to college, I was like, I wish that I just had a book that would tell me like what the right decision was for me to make. And there wasn't. And I had to just make a decision. And, you know, being in a relationship that I was like struggling with and, you know, ending it, and I was like, I wish there was a book of life that would tell me if like we'll take some time away, but then someday we can be together again. Like, I want to know who I'm gonna end up with. Like, I want this heart, like the pain of heartbreak to go away. I want to just know, instead of this wondering of like,
and then just find
are they gone
person
forever, or or like,
you would never
I don't want to go through the
person.
heartbreak anymore. Like, I just want to know. And like, if first name last name, if that's not who I meet, then I'm not even giving it anything. Or like, I was like, I want to know how many kids I'm gonna have, and what are their genders, and what am I gonna name them, or can I have kids, or this or that, or like, where am I gonna live? Like, I oftentimes wish that I had a book that would tell me all of the right decisions, like how everything was going to turn out. Because in hindsight, of course, I'm like, I kind of like, if I was talking to like my younger self, I'd be like, yeah, like you're making the right choice. Or, like, yes, you are. Like, dump him.
Dump
yes. Him. Don't be a nursing major. Study psychology. That's where your heart is. Like, all this stuff. I know.
Nursing.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Remember when everybody wanted to be a nurse?
Well, so this is what I learned. I still would love to do this someday. I think it would be really cool to like be a doula or work with pregnant women and babies in some way. But I really, really love learning about pregnancy development and infants and just like the way the woman's body worked. And so like way back in the day when I was like 15 and had no concept of what
medical school
was, I thought I want to be an OBGYN because, you know, that's kind of when I started seeing an maybe I was like 16. I started seeing an OBGYN and I was like,
they're so cool.
She's so cool. And like, she had studied, her bachelor's was in communications, and then she went to med school, which that had to have been a really big kick in the ass, and I just really respect her for that.
In hindsight, but like also she probably had to do like
there might have been something in between, I don't know whatever she did, but
communications to med school, like seriously, oh my god.
And I saw, like, I just thought I really wanted to work with pregnant women and babies and all of that, and so I was like, I think I want to be a nurse midwife. And then I went to my first anatomy lab, and they told me I needed to know every single bone in the body by the following week. I went home, I cried, I dropped a class, I picked up a women and gender studies class, and look where I am now, because
that's all she wrote.
But then my internship and my first job out of college was working for a women's nonprofit, like basically working in women's empowerment. And so it was kind of like, at the time I felt like I was like failing or choosing the easier route.
And look where you are now. You think you're failing.
Oh my God, wait. Things might be okay. Things have
Miss
come.
Justin.
Things might be okay.
Breaking news. Her brain is okay. She's gonna be okay.
I know it's all gonna be okay, but I just like feel a little bit more like I believe that for a second.
I want you to watch this video clip back, and I want you to see your face when I said that, because you went. I want you to see that, because I think that might heal you.
It might. because I just remember at the time, like asking my RA, which is the person that's like a little bit older that lives in your dorm, which, you know, if you didn't live in a dorm, you wouldn't know that. Or sometimes they're called different things.
Mine was called a CA.
Yeah, ours was called...
I don't know what that stands for.
Anyway, but they're just like there to help guide you, whatever. So I remember sitting in her room like crying, and I was just like, I just don't think this is for me. Like, I really don't want to go through a semester of this hell. But it was the last night. Like, midnight was the cutoff to drop the class and add a new one. And so I was like, well, you know, like I've been interested in like women's empowerment and learning about that stuff. And I remember just feeling like I like took the easy way out, or like I just remember feeling like I failed. And then it all ended up actually being for the better, because if I would have stayed in that anatomy class, like one of my good friends in college, we actually met because we sat next to each other on the first day of anatomy lab, because it's actually really cute. She was like, because I wore a yellow t-shirt my first day of college.
Was it the one that said honey?
It was, yeah. It was like that
I
little
remember
craft
that
one.
one.
Yeah, I loved that shirt. And then she was like, I saw the girl in the yellow t-shirt and I said, I want to be her friend. So she sat next to me.
Oh, that's cute.
And then she ended up being like my best friend throughout college.
She was in anatomy? Why?
She also started as a nursing major.
You know who else started as a nursing major?
But shut up.
Well,
No, you didn't.
no, well, I was like pre-PA and I was like, I want to transfer to nursing school. I literally throw up when I smell poop.
I actually can't look at blood. It makes, like, the idea, I can't even, it's actually crazy because I feel like I used to be better about this, but when I, like, have to get an IV or something, I just can't, like, the fact, like, the idea of something being in the, where it shouldn't be, like, blood, like, anything, that actually makes me feel so nauseous and sick. Like, I had to get a, like, light procedure. I just got cyst drained. I passed out. Because I was like, something's in there that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Something isn't right. So anyway, obviously I wasn't cut out for nursing. But that friend, she ended up sticking out the semester in anatomy and lab. And then the next semester changed to elementary education. And it was like the perfect route for her. Like, I truly believe she was meant to be a teacher. And I'm sure that she's really doing well in it. But she suffered that whole semester and like would cry
and you
a
didn't
lot.
have to suffer.
And I didn't have to. And I was learning about something that I really liked. And I really didn't have that much homework.
Bonus.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's just kind of like,
It all happens for a reason,
this
Alexa.
is actually really helping me a lot because I'm just like, okay, just trust my gut. And I'm hoping that things will click. I really wanted to voice some of these things. I mean, it kind of like sucks to put it on the internet that I'm feeling like I'm struggling, but at the same time, I wouldn't do it if I wasn't comfortable with it.
And I think you might be helping a lot of people. Because imagine if
hope.
you heard a podcast, which I'm sure people have said things like this before, but like if you heard somebody saying these things and you're like, nobody else on planet Earth feels this way. And then to come find out that somebody does.
Yeah.
Gosh, that just makes you feel better.
Yeah. You know, people are in different stages of life at the same age, like from now on until the rest of our lives.
Yes.
And that's just the case because even like, let's say that you have kids before me, then I do have kids a few years later. Like, yes, technically we're both in the stage of being parents, but you're going to be parents to elementary schoolers while I'm parent to a baby or this or that. So it's like,
But guess what? You get hand-me-downs and you get to be like, okay, if Clara has kids first, then guess what? I get to tell you everything not to do. And then you don't have to do it.
yeah. And
And you get all the hand-me-downs and all like the tips and tricks and stuff.
I think the reason it just feels, it's just something to get used to, you know? Like, I think that it won't feel as hard to see everybody in different stages once I feel, like, I think if I felt more confident about what I was doing, what I want to be doing next, I think it's just that I feel like I don't know what's next for me. And I have an idea in my gut and I want to make it happen. I just haven't committed to it yet, like what the next few months of my life will look like. And so I think if I just like commit to something, I'll feel excited about it and be like, yes, this is it. But it's just like that this is kind of the age when you have to start just getting used to people that are close to you being in different stages of life. And then once you're kind of like, yeah, sure, whatever, then it doesn't take away from the fact that I am so happy to see my best friends thriving and like I'm so happy for them in what they're doing. I can honestly say that I really like all of my best friends' partners for them. I like them as a person and I like them for my best friends. And that's something that's just a relief.
That's really cute.
And I am so,
She's never said that before.
have I not said that out loud?
Well, you've never like said that about everybody. You know what I mean? As a collective, in one like sentence. Like we obviously have talked about, and they've all come at different times too.
They have.
So
like,
it's like
yeah.
interesting to hear you. Everything like comes together
Yeah.
for everything has come together for everybody.
And it's sad because we're all spread out now. But in September, because I have a long distance boyfriend, he was in town, and then one of our other good friends from out of town, her and her boyfriend were in town. So we literally had, it was like a high school reunion, but everybody had their boyfriends. And I just remember looking around the room and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so lucky because I love all these people so much and they have their partners here and I don't dislike any of them.
And they like this was
and I
like
just
all the guys' time, like the first time meeting some of them, like for
and
the
they
first
got
time,
along.
and they were so freaking cute together.
Yeah, they were
I was
buddies.
obsessed.
And also, I don't only like these guys that my friends have found or chosen as a person, but I like them for my friend and who they are. You and your partner, I think you complement each other well. And I am so happy for you that you're living together and like you have a dog together and everything. It's like me feeling scared about being in a different stage of life doesn't mean that I'm not happy for my best friends. And I like really want to reiterate that I don't want it to feel like I'm like, I don't want to ever pull anyone down, or like our other best friend, like she literally owns the house that I live in. And
I know.
For me, the big adult,
oh my God,
like,
so slay for
and for
her.
me, the big adult move was renting from her. So it's like we're just in completely different stages, but I don't feel bad about that. I feel good about the fact that was the big adult move for me.
Yeah.
But also completely and utterly amazed by her and happy for, because that was something that was never even on my radar. Like when she texted me that she bought a house, I was like, were we even thinking about doing that for another 10 years?
Seriously, I even feel that way about.
And like
that.
She's been in a long time serious relationship. She got a dog a year ago, and her profession, she's like very secure in it, knows what she wants. Like it was a very straightforward, out of college, you get this job.
It was like out of high school, she like knew her shit.
Yeah, and like
Shouts out her. I'm happy that she had that.
Well, and I'm sure from an outside perspective, it looks like she just like has her shit together, and it always has. But I'm sure like you know that other people go through things too, and it's like hard for their own reasons. And I think it's hard for me to not compare my life to hers in the way that it feels like, because I want those things later in life, and she already has them. Then I'm like, should I be wanting those things now? But it is like never ever in a way that I like feel negatively about the way that those things are coming for her earlier in life, and that's what she wants. I don't feel anything bad towards it. It's just like hard in a way to be living such a different life than your best friends.
Isn't that
like,
kind
am
of
I
like
communicating
poetic?
this well?
I never for one second thought that you were like having any sort of resentment towards anybody. Like never even crossed my mind.
I just feel like when I said that I was sitting in a room with my friend, and like her friends are over, and like they all have their dogs, and they're all like in these serious relationships and probably like getting engaged or live together or anything, and I just feel like stuck behind. Like I didn't want that to come across that I feel like I'm like, oh, well, I'm just gonna get left behind and I'm in the back, and like, oh, all these people are moving on with their life. Like I don't want it to come across that way. I'm sad because I'm scared I'll get left behind, but not in a way that like I still feel happy for everybody. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
So it's just like such a weird duality.
Life is weird.
And so
life is weird. Life is complicated, and it's always going to be
25.
Weird. It's going to be weird and complicated forever, but in different ways.
Yeah, and I chose a creative route. There's so many things that I want to do in my career and my life that is a lot less straightforward, and there's literally not even a guidebook. In some people's careers, there literally is a guidebook. So it's easy to feel
That's very true. Like you go from
or scared, because I'm like, what if this creative route doesn't work out, and then it's too late for me to start a straightforward route? That's what I think my fear is.
It's never too late. My coworker, she is, I think, I'm not trying to like air out how old she is, but she's like almost double my age.
All you said was coworker.
Oh, that's true. She's 40.
Okay. So everybody, if you're looking for a 40-year-old woman, you didn't hear it from her. Like, we can protect people's privacy, but like we don't have to say no details.
Some random 40-year-old woman. Seriously though, she just started her current career, like what we're all doing, 3 years ago.
That actually is very encouraging. That just reminded me that my therapist, who I still need to text.
Your to-do list is just getting longer by the minute, girl.
Clara, my to-do list has been this long forever. Anyway, because I remember I asked her when I was like struggling with what I wanted to do with my life, and there was a period of my life, which maybe someday I could, but when I was in college, because like a lot of times when people study psychology, they go into therapy, and I was talking to her and I was like, I would love to be a marriage and family therapist, but how can I do that when I need you?
How can I be a mom when I need my mom?
And of course she laughed, and we had a good laugh, and
that's funny. That's funny.
But she was like, therapists have therapists, you know? And
just like hairdressers have hairdressers.
yeah, but anyway.
And male people have male people.
The reason I got onto this topic was because I was like, so, well, how, like, did you just know you wanted to do this? Like, what? And she's like, I actually didn't get my master's until I was like in my late 30s, early 40s.
Boom.
And then I was like, well, what were you doing before that? And she was like, I was being a mom. So she got her bachelor's, and then, as far as I know, she got her bachelor's, and then I don't know if she worked a little bit after that or what, but then she was a full-time mom and then once her kids were grown up, she decided that she wanted to go back to school for counseling. I actually really love that, because for me, like, going right into my master's, I felt like, you know, I would love to be a therapist someday, but I feel like I need to get my head screwed on straight first. And I needed more life experience. And for some people, you know, they feel differently about the career and like about their ability to do it. But for me, I was like, I think that could be a good career path for me someday. And so I have to remind myself that I do want to have multiple careers. And so it just does look different than somebody that might go to school for, I'm just going to say nursing, because it's one that's pretty straightforward. Like, if you study nursing, you will be a nurse. Like, that's pretty much what it is.
Yep.
And so I feel like I was pretty envious of those people, and that mine was just not that way. And I do a lot of different things. First of all, I have a podcast. I also have a blog, and I also do community events, which is kind of on hold right now because I'm pretty overloaded. I'm writing a novel, and I also do a lot of other things. Like, I paint.
And she also waits tables.
I have a paint series that I would love to be in a gallery someday once I finish it. And so it's just all these things that I'm like, it's hard when you choose a creative path because there's no security in it.
And I don't think society like really creates enough space for creativity. And I think that's something that definitely gets pushed to the side in favor of capital gain.
And I
there's
think
not
that's
a lot
why
of money to be made in enjoyment, honestly.
And I think that's why I feel like a silly little girl sometimes, like, oh, am I wasting my time by doing this because I'm not focused on like the capital gain? You know what I mean? The security and the benefits and the this and that and the LinkedIn, and I can't even get off the rant of LinkedIn.
Society just...
I deleted my social media a few days ago, and then I found myself scrolling on LinkedIn, and that's when I knew I have an addiction.
Wait till you start scrolling on your own camera roll.
Oh, I've been doing that. Actually, but that's on purpose because I wanted to clear out my camera roll, and I finally did. I cleaned up my entire camera roll. Everything is in an album where it should be. Everything that I potentially would want to post is in an album.
And she says she doesn't have her life together. Look at that.
So true. If you want to look at a picture on my phone, I know exactly where to find it.
Yeah, my camera roll is garbage. It's just straight randomness. I'll open on my camera roll right now.
Okay, this is like a super, super question that I need to know the answer.
The first picture is literally something from work. It's like a picture of something that I needed to remember.
The next picture is the green crayon on the dryer.
No, the next picture is of an eggshell on the ground that I saw.
Life is riveting at 25.
And then it's pictures of my dog.
Oh, that's acceptable. She's super duper cute.
And then it's a picture of me when I got, what are these called? Magnifying glasses.
I could not figure out what that
is riveting.
I could not figure out what that word was the other day, and I looked up like seeing closer glass with metal frame.
I was calling it a microscope for a minute.
Yeah, I was like, what's the microscope, but it's one handheld.
A monocle.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, no, that's not what it is. I need help. Okay. And then I found magnifying glass but okay, wait, can I ask my camera roll question?
Yeah.
When you know, like if you take pictures with friends or from an event or something and people just take a ton and you go through them and like you heart your favorite ones, do you clean up the ones you don't like? Or do you just heart the ones that you like and then...
No. I will go through, I'll heart the ones that I like and then delete the rest of them.
Yes, thank you, me too. I don't leave the bad ones. There are people that literally...
Who?
There are multiple people in this world.
Names.
I don't want to name drop. She might have changed since this. But one of my roommates in Italy, she was like, wait, you guys actually like go through your pictures? I didn't know we were supposed to be doing that. Like, are we supposed to be doing that?
Jail.
And I was like,
Jail.
Oh my gosh, she had so many pictures on her phone because she never deleted the one she didn't like. She just didn't go through them.
30,000 photos if I didn't do that.
How am I gonna know which one's the best one if I don't?
And
look at
how do you have
single
that much storage? I grew up in a day where you had 8 gigabytes of storage on your iPod. Like, times were tough.
I have to pay a hefty fee to Apple every month, I will say.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. But you know what? A lot of things were being stored on my Apple desktop and on my laptop, and I'm wondering if maybe that's what it was because I moved it all to my OneDrive, so I'm going to see if I can go down again. But that's besides the point.
I do want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
Before we skedaddle along.
Yeah.
You asked me this question, but I want to throw it back to you because I want to hear what you have to say. This was an interesting question to me. What books, movies, TV shows, or like piece of content would you recommend to somebody that's like coming of age?
I think, like for me and the way that I've lived my life, I would recommend, this one feels so basic to say, but Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh my God, I love that book.
I do too. And I feel like it's a good story about somebody that realized they weren't happy in the way that they were living their life. And she just went out and saw more and did it on her own and met new people. And, you know, she started seeing someone else and then was like, you're kind of grossing me out. Like, I thought this was fun, but no. And then she went and she ate, she prayed, and she loved. She went to these different countries and met people and tried these different things and tried to figure out how she thinks about life. And I was just like, it helped me find peace because I was like, okay, well, you know, people that are, you know, 35 and married feel lost and turn their life upside down. Like I'm not doing so bad. And I want to actually look at my Goodreads to see.
That's a really good one.
I would recommend.
Honestly,
how about you?
It's a classic for a reason. Like it's good. One book that I really like is Wild by Cheryl Strayhand.
Okay.
It's like a memoir, and she hiked the entire Pacific Crest Trailway, the PCT, all by herself. And she like wrote a book about it.
Dang.
And then there's also a movie, and Reese Witherspoon is in it. That's like kind of less about like being 25, but it's just like kind of a cool concept. The one song, very basic. Like Vienna by Billy Joel, come on.
Clara, that's my favorite song of all time.
Slow down, you're doing
I listen
fine.
to that song all the time. When I've been having this crisis, this ongoing crisis that I'm having, I play Vienna by Billy Joel because I'm just
It's
like,
the song. She's that girl.
slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you want to be before your time. And I think I get so caught up in like what I want to be and everything I want to create, where I want it to be, what I want it to do, everything I want to achieve with it, that I'm like, oh no, I'm failing because it's not that yet. And I have to be like, it's not my time.
You're doing fine.
I'm doing fine. I can't be everything I want to be before my time. I'm only 25.
He just released a new song and he's like kind of older now. And it was like number one charting. Old. You're fine.
Oh, I would recommend reading books about like money.
Oh yeah, you're really good about that.
That's something that I just like really also kind of stress about, that I get scared about, that I'm like, should I have more money than I have now?
How much money do you guys have?
Yeah, I know we're not supposed to talk about this, but how much money do you guys have?
No. I think we should break this thing. Seriously, how much money do you guys have? How much
money am I supposed to have in my savings account?
How much should I have?
And this might sound bad, but when somebody says to me like, oh my God, I don't even have a savings account, it makes me feel a lot better. Because I'm like, I'm actually doing a lot better than I thought I was. Like anyway. Let me see. But yeah, definitely
How much money do you guys have?
Yeah.
Seriously, clip it.
No, like, I know what I'm supposed to ask, but how much money do you guys have?
Also, drop it in the comments, please.
Like, and if it's more than I have, then don't say that. And I'm not going to say how much I have.
Don't make me feel bad.
So I think that's what stresses me out too, just about my life decisions, is
personal
that like
finance
I know that I'm fine now. Like I know that I'm okay now. I'm just scared that I'm shooting myself in the foot by not being focused on money right now. You know what I mean?
Spend the money now, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It'll come back. I always find a way. Like I have always made it work. I've always found a way.
And girl, you're answering your own, you're literally solving your own problems right now. You always find a way. You always find a way.
You know what's so funny that you just said that? Is that my boyfriend said, because he's like, sometimes I feel like you have like the full conversation with yourself and I'm just like here on FaceTime, because I'll say things and then I'm like, and I know what you're going to say, blah, 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 and la, 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 la. But then if I do this, and he's like, I actually don't know what to say because you already like suggested everything to yourself and thought of the
you just needed to get it out there and
but
put
I
it
had
out
to
there.
do that in school in classes because we would have classes where you have to think about, like I took a philosophy class, so you had to think about like any type of rebuttal someone might have. And so I think ever since I took that class, I think of like
You're hardwired.
I'm literally hardwired.
That's so funny.
But money books, I would say Rich Dad, Poor Dad and The Psychology of Money were good ones that I read. There's another one that I read, What I Was Doing While You Were Breeding by Kristen Newman. It's written by this girl, and I think it's a memoir, but her life also looked different than her friends when she was younger. I read it the first time I went solo traveling. Goes on these travels, and I think she like, her relationships go up and down and all this stuff. And then there's one person who she thought was going to be the love of her life, and like they had this will they won't they back and forth, and then they finally got together, and she was like, wait, this isn't it. And maybe that sounds a little discouraging, but anyway, I love that book because it's like somebody whose life looked different than her friends and the people around her. And maybe actually, I'm going to go reread it.
I was just going to suggest that.
I literally just answered my own. This
is why her brain's going to be formed in a week. I give it a week.
I spend way too much time alone. I literally have conversations with myself. Well, Betsy, what did you have? Did you have any books or anything like that?
Honestly, Wild was my recommendation, and Vienna. I'm not one for like self-help books. Mm-hmm. But I really like memoirs.
I do too.
So if there's any like just getting different perspectives on life, I think just can kind of help.
Yeah.
And also just reading a book that you want for pleasure, even if it has nothing to do with self-growth, I think can be helpful too. Mm-hmm. It just like gets you out of your own head.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
Read.
So I guess moral of the story is just that life looks different for everybody. To quarter life crisis or to not quarter life crisis. Not everybody has one. Some people hit it hard.
You're doing fine.
You can't be everything you want to be before your time. Thanks, Billy Joel.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Bestie. I really appreciate your insight.
Of course.
Love having you by my side.
Oh.
Even though our lives are looking different, they are always going to align, I think.
Oh my God, yeah. You're my shotgun rider.
My shouty.
What? My shotty.
And at the end of the day, it's my birthday.
So if you need a reason to celebrate, there's a reason. It's Alexa's birthday.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Love ya.
That's what we got.
Love ya. Bye.
Bye.